Shalom, everyone. This is Rabbi Roger coming to you from Israel. I know a lot of you are curious as to what has been going on in Israel, and I would like to take a few minutes of your time to update all of you. First of all, my wife and I are doing well. The good news is, Israel was not blindsided by this attack. It was never a matter of whether they would attack or not, but more of when. I kept telling everyone Israel will know when the U.S. and/or Israel has attacked Iran because the sirens would go off, inferring that they would immediately be sending missiles our way. On Saturday morning, February 28, 2026, we were awakened to the sound of sirens, but the usual sound of explosions in the background was not followed up. At first, we thought it was just a test, but later learned the U.S. and Israel together attacked Iran, and the entire state of Israel was under high alert. It was more of a just in case, get to your safe room now, rather than did the sirens work. We spent most of the day in our safe area, anywhere from 15 to 20 times throughout the entire day. It reminded us of June of last year when Iran attacked us for 12 days. It was exhausting then, and the same was true this time. Iran knows two things. They can beat us if they can overwhelm our defense systems and overwhelm the people by getting them exhausted. But then again, I think this is common knowledge and Iran sure has fun with it, or so they think. I'd like to take a minute and explain something that people outside of Israel probably take for granted. There are a lot of homes/apartments that do not have a safe room. Some of them have shelters within the neighborhood, which is not necessarily a good thing. For example, one place where my wife and I lived had a bomb shelter across the street. The problem with it was that the building was always locked, and the only person or persons who had a key used it as a storage shelter, which is very common, by the way. They also used it as a place to sit around and play games or just hang out all day. Two problems here. My wife cannot move fast and would not have made it in time even if the door was unlocked. The other is the door is usually locked when you do need it, and the person with the key would not necessarily arrive to unlock it. So, we decided to stockpile pillows and blankets in the hallway of our apartment. Not much of a defense if there was a direct hit, but it made us feel constructive, like we were trying to do something good by pretending to protect ourselves. The big question to ask is, what do people do in a situation where a safe room is not available? Prayer is the biggest thing, but there are those who get very fearful at the sound of the sirens and/or missiles and only focus on that. So how does the system work? Within the last few years, the government implemented a new system where an alert would be sent to everyone's cell phone notifying them of a potential threat in their area. I also have an app on my phone that alerts me and shows me what areas were affected. It and the Homeland Security notification both tell me when it is safe to come out of our safe room. Generally, 10 minutes after the sirens stop. Why so long? When the sirens stop, it does not mean that the bombs stop falling. You may hear exploding sounds for a short time afterwards. Or, like on October 1st, 2024, the bombing lasted approximately 45 minutes and we had to stay much longer than the usual time. If you want to get a good idea about the experience and its miracles, then listen to my podcast, The Miracles of October. I do want to note that life here just goes on. In California, they live life as normal even after a major earth tremor. It is because they are used to it and raised with it. Well, the same is true here. I've been out shopping since the start of this attack, and there are a lot of people everywhere. Where did I go when the sirens sounded? Into a public bomb shelter, generally in the basement of the mall. The nicety of it was, everyone was very casual and just being themselves. So, is there anything that makes this attack different than any other attack? Yes, it just so happened to be on Purim, for such a time as this. Look, God does not waste dates, times, and seasons. Netanyahu wanted to kill Khomeini before, but President Trump did not let him. He would rather negotiate than fight was the impression I got. Muslim terrorists do not negotiate well because they only understand aggression. Anything less than that gives the appearance of weakness in their eyes, and we've had too many presidents give them that impression. Going back to Purim, it started on Monday, March 2nd in the evening. Where does the book of Esther take place? In Persia. What country is modern-day Persia? Iran. So what kind of spirit did they deal with in Esther's time? A Haman's spirit who wanted to kill all of the Jewish people, just like we are dealing with today as they chant, "Get rid of the Jews from the river to the sea." How did they deal with Haman? Over 75,000 who hated the Jewish people were killed along with Haman and his immediate family. You must rid all evil, including the root, because any of it left will leave room for retaliation at some later point. One more thing. What was Esther's Jewish name? And I will give you a hint. It was not Esther, because that was her Persian name. It was hadass. It is the Hebrew word for myrtle. Besides being a plant, what does it represent spiritually? It symbolizes joy, peace, and restoration. It sounds like Esther herself. Isaiah 55:13. Instead of the thorn shall come up the cypress. Instead of the briar shall come up the myrtle. And it shall make a name for the Lord, an everlasting sign that shall not be cut off. Zechariah 1:8-11. I saw at night, and behold, a man was riding a red horse, and he was standing among the myrtle trees which were in the ravine, with red, sorrel, and white horses behind him. Then I said, My Lord, what are these? And the angel who was speaking with me said to me, I will show you what these are. And the man who was standing among the myrtle trees answered and said, These are those whom the Lord has sent to patrol the earth. So they answered the angel of the Lord who was standing among the myrtle trees and said, We have patrolled the earth, and behold, all the earth is peaceful and quiet. So what can you do when Israel is under attack? Pray the following, that all of Israel's defense systems work to textbook perfection, like it did in October 2024. Pray that everyone gets quickly and safely to a shelter. Pray for our military that they remain alert at all times. Pray against all types of fear. Pray for strength for all of Israel. This includes Arabs as well, since they are not exempt from being under attack. Pray godly wisdom for those in charge, from Netanyahu down to the lowest in command. Pray for the Iranian people that have recently become believers. Pray for the Iranian people that God is drawing to himself. But most of all, pray for the non-believers in Israel, that their eyes and ears be open to the truth, and they would come to know Yeshua as the Messiah. This is Rabbi Roger coming to you from Israel. Lehitrot, goodbye, or see you again.